So, wait, is this on? Is this thing on? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So, almost 2 months ago, I had a technical difficulty and I couldn't solve it immediately and it was frustrating. So, I left the house for what was supposed to be 2 minutes and instead ended up having to pick up a little custom jewelry. A little quick stop, but nonetheless, it's been some delays, right? So I am hell-bent and determined to finish this MFing series tonight, okay? Well, the morning of the second 999 portal. So, where was I? Was I talking about my history as a sexual tumbleweed? No, that was earlier in this video. Was I talking about bitches who are a danger to their own daughters as soon as those daughters hit puberty? No, that's the last video. Was I talking about people whose parents probably made them the way they were? That was video 3. I'm just kidding. I was talking about predators. That was just an inside joke between me and at least one pathological liar about memory loss and mental capacity. So I just need to put that in there for the people who might see it and know I'm talking to them. But I do remember that I was off on an ADHD tangent about the invention of teenagers and Edward Bernays and NPR, and none of that was actually really that relevant to what I was saying. My point, though, my overall point was, I have encountered a lot of predators in a lot of different environments, so I assume any man could be, but the reason why I'm not afraid of men is because I've been in enough environments where the vast majority of men did not touch me inappropriately or sexually harass me. I understand people who either have been through experiences or have heard about experiences and are afraid. I mean, I feel that way about anybody against whatever group has caused them harm. But it's just, for me, like, I just been through too much shit to, like, I couldn't hold it all if I wanted to, right? Like, I couldn't hold that on me if I wanted to. So that's the end of the predator section, despite the interruptions. That's the end of the predator section. So, next section. Let's talk about the ways that throughout my healing, and before like this specific leg of the healing journey, I've been healing for as long as I've been getting harmed, right? Or harming myself, right? But I want to talk about the ways that the divine revealed to me where I might have some sketchy patterns beyond the one I mentioned earlier. The one, because there's nothing wrong with promiscuity if everyone is consenting. So the other one. One of the patterns that I noticed, and this goes back to something that I've mentioned in the past 2 videos, is that I've dealt with a number of people who were significantly less intelligent than I was. Now, I did not consciously think of them in that way because lashes trying to stick together. Because I like to be taught by people. And so, like, if I'm attracted to somebody who has a very different background than I do, it's in part because I expect them to have done something or know something that they could teach me, right? And I look forward to that. Like, I've learned a lot from a lot of people over the years. However, there are always multiple moments in all of those situations, all of them, so many, where I had the realization, like, you don't understand the words coming out of my mouth. And even if you understand them individually, you do not understand them together, right? And one of the things I realized, this is really getting on my nerves. Sorry. One of the things that I realized is that if I were a male, if I were a boy, if I were a male and someone were to like, kind of see this pattern play out, even though the vast majority of people are older than me, they're still much dumber than me, right? If I were a male, the way that that played out would seem questionable, if not predatory. Um, and obviously that's leaving aside the, power dynamics and all of this patriarchy extra shit. All I'm saying is that same set of behaviors, I, you know, I might be a fuck nigga, right? So that was one. Another category of people were, I think because of my own experiences, I've attracted a lot of people with a lot of trauma, right? Um, who were less conscious, right, of their behaviors and the relationship between whatever harm they might have suffered and the way they acted, right? Again, if I were male, instead of being seen like, in the way that like feminine energies tend to be seen in that situation, it's like, oh, you're more healed and you like you have a healing energy, and so you attract in broken people for healing and all of that. Like, I'm not saying any of that is wrong. I'm just saying that there came a point in my healing, in my own healing, where I questioned my eagerness, my eagerness to accept that as what was happening, right? To accept that label of being a healer or being an empath and attracting people that need something, because there's the other side of it that, men tend to get more, or male energies tend to get more, which is basically the ease of manipulation of people who are damaged, right? And I don't consider myself a manipulative person, but manipulation, despite the fact that in the cultural zeitgeist and the way that we typically use it, it has a negative connotation. Manipulation is a neutral term. Like, manipulating something just means to change, right? To change in some way, to maneuver in some way, right? And so that's neutral. So if you take someone who is less healed or operating from wounds in a way, and you help them do less of that in some way, that is also manipulation. It is changing. We don't call it that because we have the negative connotation for the term manipulation. So that was another one where it was like, you need to kind of check, like, why you so down why you so down to like try to fix people? What's this? Because I in reflecting on so many experiences, especially when I failed, right, or when I failed to do as much as I thought I could do, or do as much as I wanted to do, what did that feel like for me, right? What did that tell me about my own ego? What did I get or think I was getting out of helping people, right? So that was another conviction point, right? The third is I I have a like long history of, from the time that I was 21, drinking too much. Not to the point of addiction, but like like right to the line. And I've attracted a number of addicts, right? And they were all functional. So like I didn't meet them like because they were, doing their drug of choice typically. But they, all looking back had similar characteristics. And for me, the experiences that I've had with people experiencing me is like, if I know that I'm good dope, like Blue Magic, it's a brand name, like Coca-Cola, it's a brand name, right? Like if I know I'm good dope, where is my level of responsibility to like remove people from me? And also, and I'm just now like conceptualizing this part now, I just thought of this now because of video 4, because I am very good at cutting people cold turkey. Is that not poor addiction management as both the dealer and the drug? I'm laughing because that sounds so arrogant, but like, nah, like motherfuckers really be like, I was putting my mouth on you and you were happy and then I stopped and you like acted a plumb fool. And so just, working through like my own level of responsibility in that. Particularly as I think about like what a much healthier version of me wants to attract in the future, or the very near future. I've been single for quite a long time, so I'm ready. I'm down. And so before I do this next section, let me just say, like, I haven't only dealt with duds. Like, there have been multiple people who were like, perfectly great. Time might have been bad or whatever. Like, stuff just doesn't work out. So like, I'm not like, everybody does not fall into like these categories, but there are just, some patterns that I noticed. The last thing that I have had to process, the last pattern that God convicted me of, right, is most people that I've been involved with for any extended length of time. So by extended, I mean like we had more than just a couple of weeks of hooking up, right? Most of them have said, I've never felt as understood or as seen or as loved as I have with you. And I have no reason to doubt them. Like I don't presume love bombing, right? I don't presume that people are, running game when they say that, because I don't say the same to them. Like I'm very clear on not saying the same back to them. I do not feel the same way. I've never honestly felt the same way. And like them saying it to me is like, I can't unpack other people's feelings in that way. But the thing that I did have to unpack is I am aware when I am loving someone into like overflow of their container, right? Like I'm conscious of, I'm giving you just past the point of what you are used to receiving. I am conscious of doing that. And I, had up until, recently done so in a with positive intentions, right? With a I want you to know what it feels like energy. I want you to enjoy this experience energy, right? And like I think you deserve this. And that's I don't think that's bad. Like I don't think you should, like, if someone has had, less than ideal experiences, I don't think you should make them stand that. In fact, I've had so many extremely toxic people with the mindset of all you deserve is what you've already had, right? Like that's like that crazy internet bullshit, right? Like I've never been like that. I don't understand it. I think it's weird, right? I think it's beyond weird. I think it's abusive. So I was never like that. But, but at the same time, there is something to overwhelming someone's system that is murky, right? Like there's something to, because again, even if it's not with that intention, it can still be with that outcome or that impact, right? And so I had to like work through that, um, work through that, and then also work through the fact that none of them, like there's been no person, there's been no person that I've loved in my fullness, right? Like I can I can love someone beyond where they've been, and that still be a fraction, a tiny fraction in a lot of cases, of what my capacity to give love is. Um, and because I love on so many different um, I can love in so many different ways, right? Like I can love you because we are able to stimulate each other mentally. I can love you because I feel like we have a deep spiritual connection. I can love you because I find you, fascinating or amusing. Like, and I can love you because, I feel, these deep romantic feelings. Like there are so many, because it's not just romantic, right? It's, in platonic ways, I can love people in all these different ways, right? And I'd always assumed everybody could, but I don't think everybody can. But I'm capable of that. But there's been a lot left in the tank in most of those areas, like basically all those areas except sexually. There have been two. There have been two males who I felt like my brain was not being wasted, right, when dealing with them. And they were both Southerners, right? That's going to be relevant in the next section. But yeah, there's been like two males where like I didn't feel like my brain was going to waste. And otherwise, like I've just been wasting me. And that's self-abandonment, right? So that's one piece. But that's also leaving the other party, sorry, leaving the other party in a position where, like, if I can see, especially early on, which I always can, always could, if I can see early on that you don't have a capacity to meet any really of my needs, or the vast majority of my needs, or to become a container where I can, pour more of me out, where you can receive more of me. What the fuck was I doing? What was I doing with my time? What was I doing with my time? And why was I allowing people to feel so overwhelmed by experiencing me while I was so underwhelmed? And I did have to admit, like, part of it was because I was not attached to being alive. Like, I'm going with the flow. I'm just kind of here for, a good time, not a long time type shit, right? But that didn't mean that I didn't participate in future faking. Like, that is not exclusively the province of fuckboys, unless, I'm actually a fuckboy, which is possible. Um, but yeah, like, I had to understand that it was unfair to, like, everyone. And it sounds like super basic, like, healthy people understand that already. But in my case, because I've spent my entire life being like this like gap with people, um, I genuinely didn't view it as the healthy way that I view it now. I really thought like you just accept people for who they are and try to love them as best you can, and just kind of see where it goes. Like, just don't make assumptions about where it could go. And that was very sweet, painfully stupid. Like, yikes. Um, and the worst part about about understanding this point about capacity, this is really getting on my nerves. Hold on a second. Oh, goodness. All right. We bike. We bike. The worst part about the capacity question is that I did have a reference point for more. Not even half, but which is saying something, right? Like, I had an established reference point for the more that I could give, and I knew that that reference point was not even half of, it wasn't even half of what I had to give, but it was so significantly more than I like had to pour out to most people. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, I utilize so little of me with most people, and I never communicated that with anybody because that seems like a mean thing to say, right? That seems like a terrible thing to tell someone when they're like, oh my God, I've never felt seen like this. I've never felt understood like this. I've never felt loved like this. I've never had somebody, want to pour into me or whatever. It seems rude to say, oh, like, nah, this is like this is nothing. Like, this is nothing. Like, I've done more for others. I've done more. I've given more of myself for other people. You don't say that to people, but you do kind of like need to keep it in mind for yourself so that you don't waste your time and somebody else's, right? Anyway, part of the whole being celibate thing was I wasn't even gonna. I'm no longer wasting me. Like, if I can't give 80% of me, then I don't want it. I don't want it. Which brings us to the next section. So, I am going to light a Palo Santo like Lacey. Rosa Vitas Tarot. Light a Palo Santo. This is the green heart chakra one because I have got to purge something big out of my energetic field. Are you gonna light, baby? Oh, there you are. All right. Whew. Divine, please guide my heart, my mind, my tongue to purge all of this out of my system to make way for the divine love that you intend for me. No, it's not, but God don't care. Let me also say to the divine, please block out all energies not my own, because you know what I'm about to do. So whether of consent or dissent, please block out all energies not my own from this section. Ashe. When I was 19 years old, I fell in love with a crossroads demon. And it took me 19 years to stop trying to convince God and my spirit team that I could save that hoe. Now, in my defense, I'm about to call a bunch of pleas for myself, but they're sincere pleas. In my defense, first of all, it wasn't like a full 19 years. Obviously, I've been sucking, right? So in a full 19 years, it was, just some kind of key inflection points over the span of 19 years. So last winter solstice is when I gave him back to his maker, the devil. So it wasn't a consecutive 19. It wasn't like full blown 19 years. It was just like key points. And also, I had not met anybody that much like me. Now, as it turns out, we're not really that much alike at all. But I had not met anyone that much like me at 19. And I want to utilize my stubbornness, forgiveness, and stupidity, right, to help you recognize the crossroads demon in your life if you have one. Because a lot of people don't have crossroads demons because a lot of people ain't got shit going on where somebody's gonna try to get them out of alignment, right? But I did, and that bitch was very successful many times, and we got to talk about it in hopes that it can help you. So I'm about to kick a nigga back in. Don't hit me up by shit but my back end. I'm about to kick a nigga back in. Don't hit me up by shit but my back end. I'm about to kick a nigga back in. Don't hit me up by shit but my back end. I'm about to kick a fuck nigga back in. Don't hit me up by shit but my motherfucking back end. Play with my heart and my mind, I get aggy, I start spazzing. Play with my paper, let's get active, get it cracking. This shit ain't gotta make sense as long as the money's stacking. When I part base foreign in Atlanta, yeah, I'm back in. City full of scammers, fake flexing, they be capping. Stealing granny's pills to sell them, I swear they trapping. I'm sorry, that's not funny. That's very much not funny. Just steal your grandmother's pills. I'm bored with this game because I'm out of practice rapping. Also, fuck this whole ass nigga. In 2005, I met said crossroads demon. And for that window of time where we were involved, here are all the signs that I missed that he was such. We were supposed to have our first date after meeting, and instead end up in the hospital for like 13 hours. That's the first point. You always have some fuck shit going on. And like, bitch managed to be mad disrespectful during that whole like thing where I'm like, like trying to take care of him and get his shit fixed and like all kind of shit. Like I took off classes. This is all kind of shit. Like he really is a terrible human being. Like he really is. So that was the first. It was the first experience just in the first week or whatever of meeting. The second example was I was trying out for the modeling team and hanging out with him at the job I drove him around to find. And he told me I wasn't model material. And he was basing that off the little bug-eyed nobody bitch that he had dealt with prior to me. And the shit got in my head, you know, like it probably wouldn't have if a woman had said it because like it would have just come across as hate. But like I didn't know. It's gonna sound very funny considering how males have been, especially like over time, like over all time, but like especially in the past 15 years. It's gonna sound funny to say, but like I didn't know like men were haters. So I was like, oh my God, why would he say that? Like, because he's a bitch, right? Like that's why he said it. So that was like, you know, the first go round. We hooked up, you know, off and on, cheated on people with each other and like shit like that. Um, and so yeah, like it was young, right? We were young. Um, the second inflection point was I got the opportunity to live overseas for a year for work. So this is 2008. So this is like the financial crisis, right? This is Obama election year, so it was like, you know, campaign year up until November, and it was an Olympics year, and it was just, you know, it was just a lot going on. And I'm 22 years old, and I'm in a foreign country by myself, and I can barely communicate with most people, and we're emailing every day, you know, because we've been like, you know, fucking up until that point because he wasn't far from where we had gone to school. He had, you know, graduated, and he wasn't far. And so we're like, you know, we're hooking up and we're talking, and so I leave, and for like 3 4 months he is my primary like person I'm communicating with, and we're talking about going half on a plane ticket and what it's gonna be like when I get back and how we're gonna break in the comforter set I got him and just all this stuff. And all of a sudden one day, rug pull, in a relationship. And I was of course heartbroken, and I still had an amazing time. Like, let's be clear, like, bitch wasn't gonna like lay in the bed, but like I was crushed. Um, and then I had an amazing year. In fact, I had such an amazing year that a few years later, when we were back in contact, he says to me, you know, if you had never left, we would have probably been married with kids by now. Now, it's one thing that this incredible experience that 22-year-old me got to have, because let's be clear, like I wasn't like teaching English, which no offense to English teachers, that's very necessary. Teaching abroad is very necessary. But I was working for a fucking hedge fund. Like 22-year-old me got to work for a hedge fund, a multi-billion-dollar investment vehicle for a year. And not only did you harm me emotionally while in it, but you now want to mar the memory of it. So let me tell y'all a little quick anecdote, because it's not a story, it's just like a funny thing about my time there. Um, there were there were two people that I hooked up with while I was there. There was one I only slept with once, but we like, you know, kind of just stayed kicking it. And there was one that like I slept with like multiple times. He was the first person that I had to quickly become unpregnant by, right? And then I was the kissing contest for a group of fellow drunk people, right, at a party. And so one of the people that I was making out with that night, I knew, and I knew where he worked. And I assumed that he was a spy. The guy I only hooked up with once and kicked it with, I ended up asking him point blank if he was a spy because it was just the way that he moved around. I was like, hey, so are you? And he was like, no. And then he left about 2 weeks later. And then the third guy worked in communications. for his country's military. And he was a really sweet person, but I was 22. I was not about to stay there and have his baby. He was really dope person. Um, but that means that in 1 year, 22-year-old me had romantic encounters with potentially 3 spies from 3 different countries. And so if I was not on the government watch list as a child for being extremely gifted, I definitely was by the time I was 22, living in a not necessarily democratic country. Um, and it was like, bitch, why would you say that? Like, why would you try to mar this like once in a lifetime experience? Oh, cause you're a bitch. Yeah, you a fucking hater. You a hoe, right? Okay, cool. Got it. One day it'll be relevant for me to tell you all about me getting chased through the streets in Bangkok, on vacation while I was over there. So that's 2008. 2011. So I told you guys about like the longest relationship, and toxic, and I cheated, and that's how we broke up. So I didn't tell him until January, right? Until before both of our birthdays, because our birthdays were close. So 2011 starts off with a breakup. And I'm in the middle of my health scare, which, prompted my emotional state, and his technically. And because of that, I'm in grad school and I'm working, right? So because of that, I am in Dark Night of the Soul. I'm in Dark Night of the Soul. It's a lot. It's a whole lot going on. And okay, so like in the last video, like in video 4, when I apologized to anybody that met me after 2011, this is why. So I am in Dark Night of the Soul and working on the 2011 version of the I guess what phase 1 actually represents for Farm Baby, right? It didn't have that name. Nothing was the same except my overall goal, right? And my promise to God that I'm going to do this, all right? And so I am going through Kundalini Awakening and working on that version of me's version of this, and trying to give my ex as much time and space to communicate as he needs. So I'm getting cussed out on a regular basis, and I'm waiting for this scary ass appointment that I was on a wait list for, and I'm working, and I'm in grad school. And the day of the scary appointment, Crossroads Demon calls, and we talk for 13 hours. And I tell him what I have going on. Like, he fully understands the scope of all of that's going on with me. Fast forward to Essence Fest is always July 4th weekend or something like that. Fast forward, and I've been, he wants me to be his bed buddy in the group trip to Essence Fest, and we had this like beautiful time, this very romantic time, and the last day of the trip, he says this has been too coupley. This shit that has been all of his idea, all over, from the moment he called me through to this moment, it's all been him. This has been too coupley. Again, fully aware of everything I got going on, like especially the being ill and afraid part, right? Why would you do that? Oh, because you're a bitch. Like, you worthless piece of shit. Of course, I get it. This is okay. Now I'm telling y'all this. I'm laughing, but like me in each of these is like every time it's like, oh my God, he's finally grown up. He finally gets it. I'm so glad I can forgive him. And then it's like, oh, it was the exact same thing as last time. Oh, okay, got it. So Oh, in 2011, I get pregnant by the second guy that I got pregnant by, and quickly became unpregnant. My crash out apparently used to involve pregnancy. I don't do that anymore. Um, and so, like, I don't think there really was anything until, yeah, there wasn't really anything going until 2015. And where I was living and working, my next up, like, so like not my direct manager, but like his boss, had most of the team, you know, the team that wasn't at satellite like client locations, had most of the team in the same town or the same like metropolitan area that the demon was living in at the time. And so I make a few trips, and you know, I start his spiritual journey by, you know, taking the sensory deprivation tank, and take him on a, you know, vacation, because he he had shit going on, and so it's like, you know, oh, I want to go to this place, and so I want you to go with me. I'll pay for everything. And he, you know, completely shut me down on my like last visit there, and I understood, because like this was like one of the first times where it was like I just did it, right? Like I was just like I caught him off guard, right? Crossed the boundary, really did cross the boundary. On some I'm gonna be romantic shit, and he shut it down like really, really firmly. And I was heartbroken. Like I really like I think I was more heartbroken that time than like any other time. Even though like in previous times like there have been more us there, right? But I think it was because I knew I had done, like I knew I had violated a boundary, and so like I really felt bad. And so I cried like the whole way home, and by whole way I mean like it was like a 14-hour drive. So I cried like the whole way home. But when I got home in 2015, I did a cord cutting. Did a cord cutting ritual, gave it up. It's done. I'm done. I'm not like I won't be the one to reach out. I won't be doing anything. Like as far as I'm concerned, we'll never see each other or speak again. 2018 was not the first time that I heard from him after that, but it was the time that he came in love bombing. And love bombing and future faking in a way that I had never experienced from anyone before, like on some like come stay here for a while kind of thing. And came home with me for the holidays, like, you know, he had met one member of my family previously, but like, you know, meets people in my family and all the things. And of course, you know, you already know what happened. He, you know, he rug pulls. But the thing about the rug pull that time was because I had already cord cut in 2015 with this fucking demon. And even though he had interrupted, because that was the thing, in 2018, I was working on the 2018 version of phase 2 of Farm Baby, right? Again, it wasn't called Farm Baby then either, but like I was working on like phase 2, like conceptualization of, I was working on that, right? So like he contacts me like I'm in an amazing, you know, emotional state. I'm working on shit I'm promising God, and here comes the demon, right? The difference though was while we were around each other, I never felt comfortable. I felt uneasy the entire time. I couldn't really sleep in the bed with him. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't get settled in my spirit. And normal people are like, well, no, duh, bitch, like all this shit you've already experienced with him, obviously you don't feel settled. And spiritual people are like, well, you had already done the cord cutting, so what were you even doing there? But I think it's because I still wasn't willing to accept both what he actually was and the intentionality behind his actions, that I was internalizing it instead of like, what I'm saying is like I felt like there was something going on with me that I couldn't get settled. Um, Instead of it just being like a natural, obvious reaction to my lived reality experiencing this demon up until this point, right? So there's that. So that was 2018, and I cried for like 2 days. And I wilded out for like 6 months after that because, that had been my reaction. That had been my standard reaction. And then I got my, last corporate job, and it had been my highest paying job to that point, and I was doing fine. And again, like he never would have heard from me again. And I don't fully know how to explain 2023. What I will say is we didn't have a lot of direct communication. We didn't communicate that much for that little period of time. But what pissed me off about 2023's rug pull is that hoe tried to use the moon. And you can't use my baby mama against me, bitch. Like, there are consequences for being like, oh, I wanted to wait until the full moon to do this because that's my shit. Like, fuck you, hoe. Like, really, for real, fuck you. You deserve everything bad because, don't play in my fucking face like that. And so like I don't really know how to describe 2023. It's not really worth describing except to say that it was bad enough, meaning the emotions that I was able to express, able to purge out of my body during that time was all the grief. Like it was like all the grief I hadn't expressed prior, because it felt like, because there was so much else going on coming off of me, coming out of the hospital, putting myself in the hospital and coming out in 2021, and then for this to happen in the midst of everything else that's happening, it was like unavoidable that this is intentional, right? Like this is actual energy harvesting. This is an actual demon derailing me because, again, like when we got back in contact, I was working on the 2023 version of what this was supposed to be. And I get derailed. And I'm already emotionally fragile on the one hand, but also emotionally stronger in that I can give myself the space to feel my emotions and not be completely obliterated by them, right? And there are a few different things that he said during that time that clarified who he was and who the fuck he thought I was. And one of them was paraphrasing, you know how you told me all your like deepest, darkest secrets and your traumas and the experiences you had? Yeah, I always judged you for that. And it took me like months to fully process that, because I just kept thinking like my nigga, you ain't got no daddy though. have his DNA unaccounted for. Like, what do you mean you judged me? What? And then it finally was like, oh, you're a sociopath. Right. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You are not a full human. Not that sociopaths are not full humans, but like he's not. Like the unaccounted for half of his DNA is Lucifer. Like, um, like you're not a human. Like you're not a person. And that's when it finally, like, my brain finally like broke open to receive, like not broke open and like fell out, but like broke open to receive, like, because I had been thinking this whole time that this had been my twin, and that the twin flame journey is difficult, um and 2015 representing that kind of like 10-year for us inflection point where like I was no longer gonna chase, I was just gonna focus, and he'll come when he's ready. And 2023 and 2024 was like, oh, you're not my twin. You're my specially assigned demon, who, as it turns out, had also picked up demons to attach, because he has not an incubus, like he has a feminine succubus demon attached to him. It's not funny, but it's like one of those things where it's like, whew, glad I dodged that bullet. But yeah, it's not funny at all, but I hope that anyone who anyone who is forgiving more than once, I'm not gonna tell you not to, baby. I don't want to block your blessing. I will say pay attention to what is going on in your life, positive or negative, um, when said person comes around the second time, the third time, however many times, right? If you, like me, are always doing great, doing really fucking good, or in a really bad space, but trying to be focused, like, for males, this is the you getting ready to go to college, and this girl is like really, like, she's like, you're getting ready to go to college, like, on a sports scholarship or whatever, and she's like really, really aggy that last year about you not spending enough time with her. That's a crossroads demon. That bitch is about to baby trap you, or she's gonna try to make sure that she is the only other thing you do than sports until you go to the league, whatever, right? Like it's not just like women don't just aren't the only ones that get crossroads demons. Like crossroads demons appear. Um, it's the the friend, right? It's the friend that every time you get ready to do something to upgrade your life, and you try to share good news with them or share what you're planning with them, something seems to go wrong with that plan. Like that's a crossroads demon in your life. You know what I'm saying? And like crossroads demon in your life is not necessarily crossroads demon in everybody else's life, because I will say in this motherfucker's case, he is perfectly comfortable with pointless bitches, right? Like bitches with no direction and no purpose, in my Lionel Richie voice, like, because he's off the clock. Like if he's dealing with people who don't have shit to do, like they don't have like an actual like mission they're supposed to be completing, he's comfortable. That's all he grew up around. That's all he knows. That's where he's best, because he gets to be off the clock. But I don't think I'm the only one. Like I don't know, because I don't investigate, who other people are sleeping with when I've dealt with them. I don't understand you Facebook stalking bitches. I don't get it. But like and I mean I don't get it. Like I tried it once because of him in 2006, and I just couldn't do it. Like I couldn't stomach who I felt like in that moment. I never did it again. But I don't think I'm the only person that's had this experience with him. Like, I mean, like the exact experience of like being in and out, and needing to be bailed out financially, needing this, needing that, and then still like ducking it. So I don't think I'm the only one. But let me talk directly to the demon for the last time until the trials. You never had to love me. You never had to respect me. You never had to like me. The only thing you had to do was not hurt me on purpose. Not me. Not after everything. And by the time this is all done, what I hope is that every organization that gave you enough confidence to purposely and with intention this last time hurt me, I want them all to denounce you publicly. I want your elementary school to denounce you publicly. I hope that you were compensated, because I hope that you're not the cheap whore that I know that you are, even though that increases the spiritual debt to pay. But like, I don't, like, you don't have a soul, so like, who cares, right? I don't think you have too many more birthdays left. I certainly hope you don't. I find them offensive. Like, I find your continued breathing to be a personal offense. So don't have too many more trips around the sun. But I don't think you do. I think you really did it this time, buddy. I don't know what all you've gotten yourself into, but I think you really fucking did it this time, pal. I wish like I had been able like to do this like last year, like so I could like have my mascara running and then like rub my mouth and like kind of look like a Joker. But like I don't have no tears. I will say though, for my tears, going all the way back to 2005, like all of them, like all my tears, I want every woman in your life to experience 4 times, right? 4 times the tears that had your name on it in my life. I mean, like the bitch that sells you your smoke products, the bitch that makes your coffee, like every woman that you know, I want 4 times of my tears to have your name on it. Pretty sure that other than court, I won't think about you again ever. But because of the next section of the video, I do feel like I am grateful for the placeholder. I'm grateful that you never tried to trap me. Like, I really am grateful for that. I'm grateful that you helped me figure out my neurodivergence. And I'm grateful that you were so lacking self-awareness that it never occurred to you just how significantly more intelligent than you that I had always been, how significantly more sophisticated than you I had always been. We'll leave aside all the, kindness and things like that, because you don't possess any of those traits, and so you don't value them. But like, for every time that I said, I feel like you're setting me on the shelf, and then going out and trying to catch up, and then coming back and checking in, and being surprised that like I wasn't sitting on the shelf. I've actually like been learning and growing. Like, for every time I said that, for every time I said I'm casting my pearls before swine, for every time I said you don't see me, it's not your fault that I wasn't listening to me say that. And that's the accountability here. It's not anybody's fault but my own that I got out of alignment, and it's not anybody's fault but my own that I wasn't listening to me when I said the blatantly obvious patterns that I was noticing. I'm glad you're gonna return back to hell where you belong. Happy for you. I think it's gonna be sooner rather than later though. So last part of this section, how did I get my mind actually right? Kendrick Lamar Duckworth saved my bloodline. Kendrick saved my bloodline. Last May of 2024, I heard one too many, once a lame, always a lame. Shit. One too many, I believe you don't like women. That's real competition. You might pop ass with them. Because, so like you all are, you heard me talk about like my unwanted daughters. Crossroads Demon is actually my first daughter. This is the first bitch to decide they were gonna like absorb parts of my personality and then go out in the world and try it out on people to attract people. Crossroads Demon that bitch is my first daughter. Like, how could you play me? Bitch, I made you. Like, I was your bread and butter. Like, I'm a child support type beat, right? Like, this bitch is actually my first daughter. Like, I created the monster that wants to destroy me, right? So yeah, so one too many, I believe you don't like women, you might pop ass with them. But the worst one was, I'm sorry that man is your father, because it forced me to ask myself, if somehow everything that you've ignored up until this point just magically just disappeared, right? The worst form of your magical thinking, right? Like if everything just suddenly like just clicked into place, you got everything you wanted. How would you explain this to a child? Eek. How would I explain this to my daughter? Like, how would I explain this to my son? How would I explain to a child that like, oh yeah, no, I just kept getting like fucked around and emotionally mistreated, and I kept going for it and self-abandoning and wanting to be right. Honestly, wanting to be right more than healthy or happy. And I couldn't think of a way. And I was like, oh. And I don't know, who this could help, but I just, this has come up a couple of times in these videos. Just consider what lesson you want your child, current or future, to take from whatever adult behavior you got going on, whatever adult relationships you got going on. Like, consider what you want your baby to learn, because I got stuck on that. Like, I got stuck on, I'm sorry that man is your father. Like, I got stuck. And then I got unstuck. And that is the next section. And so, let me say, to close this out, only what is in your will and not my own. If the person written on this candle attempts to access my energy in any realm, in any dimension, in any way, using any person, place, thing, or medium, stop his fucking heart. Ashe. There it is. My boobs aren't that big. I just needed a bra that could cover my sensitivities as best it could. Giving y'all a little Marilyn Monroe meets Minnie Mouse. So despite the disasters spoken about previously in this video, I think it's still gonna be one video. It might be 3 separate videos. I can't wait to fall in love, possibly for the first time. I look forward to it. Like, I have no doubt that love is out there, especially, you know, now that I'm actually like healed enough to take it seriously. Yeah, I can't wait. I understand how people stop believing in love. I do. That's just not me. Like, I believe in love because I believe in God, and God is love. And it's easy for me to believe in love, I guess, because I believe in God. For all comes eventually, you know, like, without interference, like from, you know, outside humans, I've lived a pretty privileged life of like always eventually getting what God, you know, told me I deserved, told me what was coming for me. And yeah, it is a privilege. It very much is a privilege. But also, there has been a lot of very intentional interference in the past several years, and all that did for me was like narrow my focus. Like, I am only attracted to a very, very narrow portion of the male species at this point. I'm only attracted to highly intelligent, like, can play with me with their intelligence, not try to play me with their intelligence like a lame. Like, highly intelligent, can play with me with their intelligence, Southern black men. Like, if you didn't grow up around one of these plants, one of these two, like, for cultural reasons, until I age out of childbearing, I'm sorry, like, my kids gotta be Southern black. Matter of fact, not just Southern black men who are darker than me. My grandma was very fair skinned. We don't know if it was like dad was or granddad was white, but like, my grandmother found, and she would tell us this, like, she found the blackest man she could find to have her children by. So like, they had this like contrast, and so like, you know, everybody in the family is like multiple different colors. And whenever I felt her presence, you know, after she passed away in 2010, whenever I felt her presence, when I'm in a like kind of lovey-dovey thing, like, I feel like she always gives me the yes for men that are at least 2 shades darker than me, and that's gonna come up later. But yeah, like, for cultural reasons, for like microcultural reasons, I guess, for microcultural reasons, for all the things that I want to do with a partner, like, it's a very, very narrow focus. And it's so narrow that, like, I'm only interested in that set of men. Let's narrow it down even further, who like want to build with me. And I'm not talking about just building a family. I'm talking about like building our dreams, like pie in the sky this thing. Like, we are going to build, we're going to reshape, if not the world, if not the country, if not the South, we're going to reshape something in our image with our love, right? Like, I'm manifesting so specifically. Like, I really, that's what I was told to do. Like, God said, like, okay, like, you've been real, give peace a chance, give people a peace, give people a chance, right? And those days are done. they're behind me now, which was the point of, you know, I guess, yeah, two and a half or something like that years of celibacy. So I can narrow my focus, get very clear about what I want. And so what I want to do is, because I'm talking about, you know, what the universe told me, I want to, hold on a second. I'm back. I'm gonna light my heart chakra Palo Santo. Well, I'm gonna half-ass light it because this thing takes forever to light. I just want to see some smoke. Yeah, that's good enough. Call in my crew, my spirit team, calling the divine, and this candle has divine love written on it, not a specific name, even though. So, to all forces of the divine, guide my tongue, guide my heart, guide my mind, guide my spirit to convey the message you intend for this video, this section of the video. Help me get it all out. Hope it reaches intended audience. Ashe. So when I say build, reshaping our image, because I am so spiritual but never really made that a part of how I dated, like I got lucky a couple of times. In fact, part of how I narrowed down my focus to Southern men was the only two men that I've been involved with that I could have those deep Black history, deep Black, you know, Black American and African spirituality conversations with were both Southern Black men. And that's not to say they're the only ones that do, it's just, we just have something different going on together, and I'm sorry, you know, I'm not sorry. We have a thing, and in terms of building, like, I'm not really a type A personality. I've just worked in type A fields and burnt out repeatedly, and now I'm a creative. And so I have no desire to like wear the pants in my next relationship. Like, ideally I could like run through his house like I'm Winnie the Pooh or whatever Megan had said. But I won't mesh well with a man that does not want me in his business meetings or to be in my business meetings. Like, I want to build the family business, right? Like, I will. So, you know, I'm trying to push, you know, this is all about pushing everything that's out of alignment out of the way. I will. That is, you know, it's that or bust, basically. So like again, like I don't want to run him, but I want to build the totality of our legacy together, and not just, you know, my daddy built all this for us and my mom, you know, she held it down at home and she da 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 da. Like, that's cute for those who are that, but that's not me. I have too much I need to do on my own. I've made too many promises to God on my own. God has revealed too many things to me on my own. So like, that has been a conflict in previous relationships, because one of the things that I am unfortunately very good at is, because I'm the kind of person that, like, when I see people, I see them at their higher self first. I am really good at like seeing how somebody could tie into what I'm already supposed to be doing, or seeing what they could be doing if they were, you know, if they were in that state of mind, if they were in the like, what can I do for legacy state of mind? I'm real good at that. Like, I probably should be charging people going forward. And so when I mentioned previously, like, that I participated in future faking, even if kind of unintentionally, that's more so what I meant. Like, it was never like future faking, like, what are we gonna do together for the holidays? It's like, if we build a life together, we could do this, this, and this, right? Based on whatever, you know, skills and experiences and talents they brought on their own. Because I've been working on a lot of the same things for several years. Like, I've had a lot of the same ideas that have been refined. Because of the way my brain works, I map things together, right? So when I learn things, it has a place in all of the various visions I've had, like, throughout time, right? And so that's kind of like it's like that or nothing. Like, I wanted to make sure y'all could see my gray hair. It's not my only gray hair, but it's like the one that wants to be, like, you know, in the front of the class raising her hand. Like, I wanted to make sure she got her shine. I wanted to make sure y'all could see, like, I'm a long sideburn girly, like a shanty. Like, because I need to remind you, like, I'll be 40 in January. Like, I can't play with you niggas no more. Like, I can't play with you niggas no more. Like, please stay out my face. And so, yeah, like, I'm very narrowly focused. So going along with the neurodivergent part that kind of led to me, you know, being kind of scattered and I can deal with whatever. I can make shit work. One of the things that I dealt with previously was limerence, right? And so, for, you know, people who don't know limerence, it's like basically like when you kind of like make up in your head like a whole thing with somebody that you barely have any interaction with, right? And so, like, I can do that. Like, I can do that, and I still do that. I've diffused it because I have multiple crushes. That's the closest I've gotten to healing limerence for my neurodivergent kids out there. The closest I've gotten is to focus more on traits and then be like, okay, so I think I could probably find multiple people that fit these traits. And I have, like, you know, a few, like, you know, people in mind, right? And so, because my relationship with God is not a parent-child relationship, like, I'm not knocking anybody who views God as their father or mother, father, God. Like, I don't have an issue with that. I understand it. But my relationship has always been, and by always I mean, like, you know, since I've been an adult, thinking through, you know, not only my concept of God, but my experience with God. God is like my homie, lover, friend, and business partner. Like, God sees me naked, and so God laughs when I'm suffering through terrible sex. Like, God is constantly, we're constantly co-creating. That's how I started this series, right? Like, we are constantly co-creating, and because we are constantly co-creating, God said, I'm gonna come to you. Like, I'm gonna show up. Like, I'm gonna show up in the flesh. We gonna see each other. Like, the God in me is going to see God in someone else at the same level or above that it's within me, right? And so I want to talk specifically about my biggest crush, because my biggest crush is someone that is God in flesh. Like, is God in the flesh. Like, you are the physical manifestation of God consciousness. And if you know that reference, if you've heard that before and you remember where you heard it from, your pussy probably real good, and you probably been celibate for a while too. You might also mix your weed with herbs. Just saying. That's a very specific reference from my people, from my sister out there, right? But like, yeah, God made manifest. Like, and the craziest thing saying manifest, I manifested this person once. Like, I've met this person, and I manifested this person semi-unintentionally, right? Like, I've been manifesting my life since at least 2003. Like, since my, like, scholarship offer my junior year in high school, I've been, at least since then, I've been manifesting, right? And aware that, you know, I was doing, like, I speak it and it comes to existence, right? I speak it in a line and it comes to existence. And so I've done that, but when I met the physical manifestation of God consciousness in 2017, I didn't realize that I had been consciously manifesting him for like 6 months. Like, my crush is very prolific and very abundant in his energy and very generous with his energy in a way that I am not, right? And so I didn't realize I was manifesting him because, like, yes, I'm a witch. Like, I'm a freaky old, geeky old, eating ass nigga, collard green and go eating ass nigga. Like, but I thought then, you know, that version of me believed that manifesting people violated free will, right? Like, because, like, you know, people do love spells and come to me spells and spaghetti spells, red sauce spells, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all of that shit sounds so fucking corny to me. Like, that's, like, I thought it was lame hoe shit then. Now I understand that it's violation of free will. Well, I thought it was lame hoe shit and violation of free will shit. Now I understand that, like, it has backfires. Like, it has backfires. If you violate someone's free will to come into their energy, a lot of times they're going to end up resenting you. Like, if you know, put a certain dish in front of a man and then you wonder why he cheat on you, since it's because you violated his free will to get him. Like, he chose you. You know, you went above his head. You know, you went above his spiritual rank, above his spiritual understanding. Or like dudes, you know, I'm gonna do breath magic. I'm gonna do, you know, eating magic on you, and it's like, and you wonder why either sis won't leave you alone when you're done with her, or why now she wants, like, people she ain't want before. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you violate free will, there are consequences for that. Like, it's like general universal law. There are consequences to violating free will. And so, like, I never did that, but I still manifested him. And the way that I did was because he's so generous with his energy. I just spent 6 months sitting in his energy. Like, whatever he had made available freely from love to any and all, I just sat in that, in love and gratitude, like appreciation and gratitude. And like, I didn't even like self DJ back then. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even do that because I didn't want to, like, I wasn't trying to get in his energy. Like, I didn't want him to feel me. I just wanted to feel him. Like, I wanted to feel him around me. And it worked, and it worked in a really weird way. So I happened to be in my home metropolitan area for the same reason I was always home in May when I, you know, lived out of state. And I was really sad the day that I met him. I was heartbroken, actually, and it wasn't anything romantic. I was single. It wasn't anything romantic. It was just like a core wound had gotten like a new layer to it, right? And so I was really, really heartbroken. And I heard my grandmother say, like, you know, at that point, both of my grandparents had passed away, so like I could like kind of like feel their energy around me. And they're basically like, it's too beautiful of a day, and you've come into town for this weekend. Get dressed, go take yourself on a date, because I'm real good like a Mandy date. Like, I love taking myself out. Typically because I haven't had people in my life that like the same things I liked, or oftentimes could afford things that I like doing, to, you know, be willing to spend their money that way even if they didn't necessarily enjoy it. And so I took myself out on a date that day, and I was in a store, and I was like, you know, perusing the store, just in there, and I turned around to leave, like, cause I'm at the back of the store where the cash register was, but I hadn't bought anything. But I was, I just made it back my way back there, and I was turning around to leave. So I was just going in and out of the store. It's a historic shopping area, and he walks in carrying things to leave at the store, like carrying things to sell in the store. And it made sense that he was there, right? Like, but it's a big metro area. He probably did multiple stops that day, and he just so happened, this very, very important like weekend for him, he just so happened to like get there right then. And he he kissed my hand, he called me gorgeous, and I was like, I was like, I couldn't flirt, like I couldn't do, like, bruh, like, oh goodness, like I couldn't do anything but like giggle. I think he either asked me about my tattoos, or he asked me my name and didn't believe my name was my name, or why my name was my name, something like that. It was one of those, like, he was able to flirt, I wasn't able to flirt for real. And so I just, like, I got flustered and I left, right? And so like later I was like, okay, so like I met him and I'm gonna marry him. And I just kind of like settled on that, right? Like that's what's happening. I met him after all of this, unintentional manifestation, just, being grateful for the energy he puts out into the world freely and lovingly. And he actually, like, he kissed me. He kissed me. And so, yeah, so I was geeked. But then, that second to last 2018 misalignment happened. So like, I'm doing stuff, right? Like I think I was working, and then I wasn't working, and I was working on like stuff. Basically, okay, let me back up. On the way back home, what I heard God say was, if you do what I've been telling you to do, because remember, like, the work that I'm doing right now, I started planning in 2011, right? And like building in increments of like mapping how this was going to come together each time I thought I was, all of my false starts, right? And so basically God was like, if you do what I'm telling you to do, you guys are going to come into alignment in some way. Because I wasn't asking for alignment. I didn't ask for anything. Like, I did not ask for anything. It was probably the most free will you can manifest somebody, is to, like, I didn't ask for anything. I didn't even ask to meet him. Like, I didn't ask for anything. I just wanted to sit in his energy because he's beautiful and brilliant. And so God was basically like, yeah, if you do what I told you to do, like, you're gonna meet him. Like, and he literally looks like my grandmother's type. Like, he looks like the kind of man my grandmother would pick out for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she like catalog, she was like, yeah, no, this is the one. And it's like pie in the sky. Like, if instead of a woman being like, because like people are always talking about like women's standards are too high and blah blah blah. If a woman said, I am going to have the most extreme, detailed, like fine detailed, tiniest paint stroke, pie in the sky list of what I want in a man, he's mine. Like, he's mine. And I have not met anyone that was that much my insane list, my insane old, like, I would be scared to even ask God for a list. But I did meet him, you know what I'm saying? And so at that point in time, I was just manifesting him right as he was right then, right? I was manifesting him in his cozy body, because he looked like the best weighted blanket to cuddle with, and he was just so cute. Oh my God. So I was just manifesting him right then. In that moment. The past few months, I've been manifesting every version of him that I can find access to, right? Like, I've been manifesting like every bit of him. But I had to slow down because it seemed like it was working too well. Like, it seemed like it was working faster than the work that I was, able to put out, because I conceptualized these 6 videos and thought I could knock them out in like a month. It's been 6 months for 6 videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I had to like pull back energetically because I was feeling him. I was feeling him feel me. Like, I think, pretty sure. But yeah, like the 2018 and 2023 misalignment should have never happened, because I had already met like my ideal, like not just my ideal, because like lots of people like can see someone who, you can like see, they give you access to their energy in some way, they put out content or their whatever they do. Lots of people can be like, that's my dream guy. I mean, I think that the same way that I have not been fully appreciated, he might not fully have been appreciated in all the levels that he is my crazy detailed list, right? And so I had to pull back, but what God told me was I could include him in these 3 videos if I made sure that it was still in the theme of what this work is supposed to be, which, because he's someone that understands what it's like to make God a promise, like, God, if you do this, I'll do this, and then try your best to deliver on it, like with your first fruits, like the very first thing that you like give of yourself, or like the second, not like the very first thing, you know what I'm saying? Like if you say, God, can you help me make it into the league, and I got you back, right? And then God helps you make it into the league, and you're not with your first year salary giving back to God. You know what I'm saying? Like, then when you gonna deliver on that promise? He is someone who understands what it's like to see that God is fulfilling a promise to you, and wanting to give God back God's due immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, so like I'm gonna put you first, and even if it doesn't seem like I'm keeping you first, you will always be woven throughout everything that I do, even if it's subtle. But you'll always be there, and you and I will have talked about you always being there, And so like that's a very specific experience to find in someone, right? Which means that being able to include him in these videos, because like I'm gonna talk about him a 3rd time, not talk about him, but like reference him a 3rd time in the final video. That's damn near a marriage proposal. That's a lot. That's a lot. So in the event that he is not the man that God intends for me, the man that God intends for me will have dealt with the fact that this other person was included in my art in this very specific way, right? So I'm not gonna rap. I'm not gonna make up. I didn't like my freestyle or like write a 8 for him, because the perfect words are kind of already written, and I think he understands wanting CeeLo Green's help with something that's like really important to you. So let me caress your consciousness. I want you to taste the thought of me. Is your imagination aroused? It ought to be. Let me seduce your soul with every word I say. Wait on my love. It's on its way. I don't desire to play with you. I know exactly who you are and what you got going on, so you don't have time for that. but also I've been through too much to play. And also I can't do this work with anything less than the purest intent, right? And whether you receive this in the way that I intend, or whether or not you are curious, right? Your imagination is aroused. I hope you understand the sincerity, at least. I'm an overwhelming energy to a lot of people in person. You're an overwhelming energy for a lot of people. And sometimes, because I've spent so much time in your freely given energy, I have to like check, like as I'm making content, as I'm giving my opinion on anything, I have to check, like, did I get this from him? This is me. Or did I also learn about God from Erykah Badu? Or did I learn this because I was, born a woke child, basically, like raised a woke child, became a more woke child, was a hotep until basically the pandemic, right? And so like when you say things that I like either disagree with or come from a different perspective on, it makes me like really excited because like, oh no, I still have my own brain. No, I still have my own brain. I'm not just like a clone of him, right? I don't know if you're into alien fairy girls who vaguely look like a certain woodland creature. I might not be your type. And that's okay. You don't have to like aliens. I think you might be an alien as well. So it'd be great to make love under the stars and talk about our other family. But not playing. Just making sure that priority one stays priority one. And then priority two stays priority two. I can't wait to ride the dragon. That's the roller coaster at Legoland, Florida and California. It's like I can't wait to like have kids and like ride the dragon with them at Legoland. I don't need to take notes on you. You have your own constellation, your own map in here. But if you're single, because I did not check back then and I didn't check now, that's not my business. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not my business. I take no for an answer. Like, especially this very, very healed version of me, I take no for an answer. So, if it's not, it's not. But I hope it is. So, okay. With that being said, you guys, let's conclude this video. Let's talk about all the ways that we allow external judgment to cloud the way we view ourselves, view our experiences, view our possibilities, right? I can share all this stuff, including, that I have a very intense crush on someone who might not know I exist. I can share all of that because, like, who gonna check me, boo? Like, I don't value your opinion of me. I respect your right to have an opinion. I don't value your idea of what is right and wrong if I'm right with my rights and wrongs. Like if I'm good with even my worst moments or the worst experiences that I've had, you ain't got nothing for me. Like I can't care. I'm on here, you know, I show up like this. Like I don't care. I can't. And so what I want for you all is to start considering the source. And oh, that's gonna be a whole separate video on a completely unrelated topic. We're gonna keep it on your life and experiences right now. Consider the source. Why would you let someone judge you who ain't never jumped off the porch? Like they only ever did this quote unquote right thing. Why would you let somebody like that judge you? They don't have no life experience for real. What does their opinion matter, right? Like what are they going to give the world in terms of actual earned wisdom when they never found out for themselves? They never fucked around, they never found out. You know, all they ever did was the follow the playbook. My college program had a 5-year curriculum. And I remember getting into it with a professor who was also like, at an advisor level, because I was on scholarship, and so I did what I wanted to do, basically. Like I made sure I met their requirements for graduation, but beyond that, I did a whole lot else. And he was like, you don't need all this stuff, you don't need all this stuff. And I was like, first of all, you don't know what I need, you don't know me. Like, we don't come in here as blank slates, we don't come in here generic. And as it turned out, the difference in my course resume, right, my transcript, the difference in the decisions that I made and people who just stuck to what was laid out in front of them gave me opportunities that they would have never even been considered for. Like, it set me apart because I've always had my own mind and I've always followed my own curiosity, and sometimes that leads to me falling on my face. And then I'm like, oh, okay, so this is not for me. Guess I need to wipe my face and go try something else. Y'all be so, not y'all, because plenty of people live life and get their earned wisdom, right? But a lot of y'all are so scared to not only experience things, but to be seen experiencing things. Y'all are so afraid of being called names by people who have done the same thing. Can't no nigga with a high body count call me a hoe. And can't no nigga with a low body count call me a hoe, because you don't actually know what it's like to have multiple people interested in you. My bad, bro. Like, y'all don't be mattering for real. Like, people don't be mattering for real. Like, y'all give way too much weight. So many people give way too much weight to the opinions of people who either haven't had the experiences they've had, because nobody has had all the exact same experiences. Either haven't had the experiences they've had, or had the same experiences, did some of the same things, but lie about it, because a lot of people are fucking liars. Oh my God. A lot of people are fucking liars about their experiences. They hide everything and then they judge real loud so you don't hear the skeletons rattling around in their closet. You get what I'm saying? Like, either way it goes, either they've had experience or they haven't had the experience. Why does it matter to you what they think when they not wiping your ass in the bathroom? That's like the most intimate thing you can do. They not wiping your ass in the bathroom. So if they're not wiping your ass in the bathroom, why do they matter? And then for that narrow category of people who have wiped your ass, then you learn to wipe your own, hopefully. I'm not trying to be, able-centric, right? But for that narrow group of people, you disconnected. Enmeshment disordered. Is disordered way of thinking. And I just I want y'all to learn to be okay with yourselves. Whether you choose to have the experience or not, just be okay with you, right? Like just be okay with you and don't let other people mind your business. And also don't mind theirs. Like shame eats at you. Shame will eat you up inside. And it's just not worth it. Like, because I've had so many experiences of people trying to shame me, I was about maxed out on that shit by high school, by the end of high school. Like, by the time I went to college, I was about maxed out on shame. So, all of those, like, first adult experience, like brand new adult experiences that I had, I don't give a fuck. I learned things. I learned that you're not supposed to smash the homies or the frat brothers because you're gonna find out the hard way that the nigga with the biggest dick runs his life based on the opinions of niggas with much littler dicks. Like, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Hey, don't smash the homies because you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Not because they think you're a hoe. Nobody gives a fuck what lame niggas think. It's because you're gonna figure out, oh, so like dudes who should have more confidence don't necessarily have more confidence. And dudes will have a whole lot of confidence and get whatever it is they're trying to get with that confidence and not be able to do anything with it. Like not be able to do shit with it. Like, but you're not supposed to know that. That really is the point of slut shaming, by the way. You're not supposed to know what pleasure is like. You're not supposed to know what you like. You're not supposed to know what's out there and how many men cannot do the do. Um, that's the whole point. That's why so much of what is talked about in terms of what femininity is, it's a push and pull to wanting a child, wanting someone ignorant of the world, want someone who lacks knowledge of things, so you tell them whatever and they don't know how to check it, or they've never heard the opposite or whatever it is. They don't know pleasure, they don't have experience. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a reason why there's so much emphasis, especially in the past 15 years with the rise of the manosphere and all these fucking podcast bros. There's so much emphasis on youth and being virginal and like all of that is women are becoming too knowledgeable and therefore fewer of us will succeed with them. And so we go from manosphere to male loneliness epidemic, and it's a straight line through there of men deciding that they only want. That's why I showed y'all my gray hair and these falsely this perky nearly 40-year-old boobs. Like I want to make it very clear. I have zero desire to appeal to the majority of men. I don't like y'all. I don't respect y'all. I don't think y'all are worth much in the world, period. And then your opinion on women makes you worth even less as a human being because that means you lack empathy, you lack understanding, you lack the ability to see women as human. So, like, y'all can go to wood chipper. Like, fuck, we need fertilizer. Like, fuck you. And so, like, I'm not trying to get y'all to think like me. I'm just saying it's an option. It's an option for consideration. You can consider it, sis. You can consider it, bro. You can consider not caring about these goofies. love all of you. All of it. Good, bad, right, wrong, indifferent, ugly, whatever, old, whatever. Love you, love you. Like, why would you spend years of your life feeling unloved and unlovable? That shit can't touch you when you love you. And believe me, many people have tried in my case. Many people have tried. But like, you don't like you. Therefore, why would I care if you like me? You don't want to be you. And neither do I. Trust me. You would rather be me and you want to tell me how to be me. I've had that experience my entire fucking life. Bro. Long hair don't care the fuck. Like, what you talking about? People are so weird. People are so weird. People are so weird. I cannot be from here for real. People are so weird. Oh my God. You guys. If nobody else loves you, please love you. It's hard work. It's hard work, especially if you're starting at like a real deficit. Like I've had to, rebuild my sense of self. Like I've had to reinforce my foundation from a very early age. That is the last video. I've had to reinforce my foundation, my core of like knowing who I am and knowing my mind. Who, bitch? That's the final video. I've had to do that a lot. So like it's easier for me. Even when I feel insecure, I still feel sexy. Even when I feel insecure, I still feel intelligent. Even when I feel insecure, I still feel like I can wear most of what I want to wear. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not you don't have to be on 100 all the time, but like, nobody should be able to make you feel no type of way about you unless you have not been honest with you about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely constructive criticism. I've tried to show you all the ways that like I've had to like, as I'm running through this scenario, these are all the things that I want to push from, push to other people. But like, there's a lot of stuff I got to take. Like, this is my baggage. This is my shit. This is where I fucked up. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about don't let people give you constructive criticism. I'm telling you, don't let people define your core sense of who you are. If you do something that is out of alignment with your values, with who you believe you are, then you say, oh, well, I fucked up there. Guess I need to work on that. Let me examine that. Let me unpack that. Let me talk about it in therapy. Let me watch some YouTube videos on the psych side of YouTube or the spirituality side of YouTube. Like, whatever you gotta do, but like, nobody should be able to shake the core of who you are. And the act of trying is violence. Especially when it's people close to you. That's abuse. When people who know you intimately have the fucking audacity to try to change the core of who you are, that's abuse. Learn to recognize abuse, babies. I'm gonna reset the background, change up basically everything. See you, baby.